Right here I have two new fuse boxes from Classic Retrofit. They use the newer style ATO blade fuses. The older style that was in the Ferrari originally, I believe they call it a torpedo type. Not really that common anymore, so if you blow a fuse, you gotta go searching for it. I mean, they're still available, but since I'm upgrading anyways, I figured I would put the newer style fuses in. Welcome to today's episode. I'm Trottier. This is Project 308. Let's get started. So if you actually own one of these vintage creatures and you still have the original fuse boxes in it, you know what? It's time to give your head a shake, pull out that pocketbook, and actually spend a couple dollars upgrading these fuse boxes. Now, Classic Retrofit did not send me these fuse boxes for free. I paid for them, but they're not that expensive. And, you know, if you want to send me some free stuff for my car, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not at that point yet where my YouTube channel is big enough for me to be getting all kinds of free stuff, right? Not yet, anyways. But if you subscribe right now and share this and do all that like stuff, you never know where I might get to. Now I know what you're thinking. If it ain't broke, why fix it? Well, I think there are two issues that you should consider. Number one, the rivets that hold each terminal are known to loosen as they age. Number two, the fuse holder itself will lose its spring tension and will back off, loosening the fuse. Both of these issues, well, they may not set your car on fire, but they'll definitely cause all kinds of weird electrical gremlins that you just can't seem to explain. Alright, the magic of cameras. This wire had fallen off, so I had to go and look at my footage to figure out where it came from. And it came from right behind here. Let's see, I got another one coming up shortly. Two here. Now this one's obviously not original. It's going to right here. Going down and coming around. I don't know what it's for. Looks like it might be a power antenna or something. But we'll figure that one out. Okay, so there's the white fuse box in. So I'm not necessarily recommending the Classic Retrofit one, that's just the one I wanted, but there are a few available on the market, and they're actually pretty easy to change. Kind of looks like high pressure hydraulic hose, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Definitely is.
Look at the channel and look at the hose. And you see where it's stuck?
Yep.
Okay, so come to the front of the car. Right about there, yeah.
So, we cutting a hole here?
No, we're not cutting any holes, buddy.
Ah, come on.
Actually, you know what, Terry? I can move it. It can't be that tight.
Which way are you going?
I want to get it out. I want to get it out.
Which way are you going? After or forward?
I'm pushing, you're pulling. So just in case you're new here and this is your first video, let me explain what I'm doing. I am trying to remove the brake booster hose that runs from the front of the car to the rear of the car. Which way are you turning? It is some crazy ass thick hose that some person in the past put into this car and got it stuck halfway through the body of the car. It needs to come out.
Roll your boat.
Well, should we pull a wire through at the same time? Well, I got to run something back in there, right? And then cover it with electrical tape. Okay, so you twisty, you make sure that wire keeps... Raj, make sure the wire just kind of unravels there. Sure. Okay. I twist, you pull. It's like a tug of war.
Guess what? It's out.
Awesome, thank you. Let's take a quick moment and look at my hose. Look at my hose. I can't believe I just said that. Let's look at my hose. All right, so we have 3 hoses. We have heater hose, standard heater hose. We have a higher pressure industrial hose, 5/8 again. And then we have what I took off the car, which is this one right here. See the reinforcement on this one, that's steel reinforcement. This is not automotive hose. This is hydraulic hose designed for a industrial application. 10,000 PSI. Man, is it rigid. Ooh. Yes, I could make all kinds of manly 6-inch rigid jokes, but that is not supposed to be on the car. Then we're going to look at these 2 hoses here. This is heater hose. This cannot be used in a brake booster application because it's only meant to hold 125 PSI from expanding outwards. It has no real rigidity for collapsing. And normally an aspirated motor will supply 17 inches of mercury. That is the force that is being sucked. That's the suction force. That means this hose potentially could collapse as it ages. This is not designed for a vacuum application. Do not use this hose for your brake booster. This hose here, however, as you can see, it's got some support membrane built into the hose. It is 300 PSI industrial hose, but it will also hold its shape and won't collapse. I'm squeezing that fairly aggressively right now. This one just goes like that, as you can see. So we're gonna put these 2 hoses together like this. I'm going to tape them up and I'm going to try and pull them through the car right now. Okay, so let's head over to the car right now and let's take a look at the car and try and come up with some sort of plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my borescope right and take a peek up there in a second so you can see exactly what's going on. But right about here is this jog in the channel. So it comes along here and it goes up. Now previously, I'm fairly positive that that industrial hose that was in there was run from the back, jogged up, pulled it forward, and then it just was so rigid it got stuck right there. So we've got 2/3 of the channel is in the front of the car, 1/3 of the back. So it makes sense to me, instead of running it this way, I'm going to run it this way. And I've got some electrician sort of hose puller, wire pulling lubricant, and I've checked it and it shouldn't damage the rubber. So we're going to try and put this on the hose and we're going to run it down there and see if that lubricant is enough for me to be able to pull that hose through. I've got a bit of a better shot here. This is the guide wire that I've run through the channel to help me pull the new hose through. And I'm not exactly sure what this tin is, but it's almost like it was put in at the factory to help transition the hose dropping down into the lower part of the channel.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go over here.
All those lubricants. All those lube.
So pull back a little bit. Okay, pull it back out all the way. Okay. Yeah. Gotta get, so right on that end there, I need you to get more lube right on the end. As I was sizing up this task before I started, I thought this is gonna be a difficult one. And it certainly didn't prove me wrong. I fought with this for hours without making any progress whatsoever. Well, this is certainly being a challenge. It's being an absolute biatch. Still at it though. All right, so we're trying a different technique now. As you can see, the hose is right there, and I have attached the second hose way back there. Focus. Hopefully, if I can get that through and pulled, then I can actually grab onto that hose, and maybe that'll pull it through. I let the camera roll for what seemed like forever. And you know, I'm pretty sure I've discarded about 45 minutes worth of footage. And then I just kind of forgot that the camera was there. And of course, 3 or 4 minutes from now, I actually get the hose in and I'm like, yeehaw! And then I go to my camera and the battery had died. FerrariChat.com for the win again. Thanks, Ramuso, for this diagram. When I purchased this car from my buddy Rob, click on the link on screen if you want to meet him, I knew it was missing a lot of pieces. Everything that I've marked off in the yellow, black, and red was missing and had to be sourced. That wasn't fun. And while I had sourced all these pieces over the last couple years, I couldn't actually put them in the car until I ran those 2 hoses through the driver's side channel from the front to the rear. But I can put them in now. That's what we're gonna do. Gotta do returns first. Are you I'm just letting you know I've spent a generous amount of time looking for pictures and diagrams of the correct routing of these hoses. And I've come to the conclusion is there is no standard because everybody's car looks different. Now thankfully I've managed to find this support bracket for the water valve. But what I couldn't find is this sexy looking joiner. Hell, I would have settled for 2 of these metal T's. They can't be found either. I guess I'll just have to live with plastic for now. I do know that a good amount of the hoses were routed underneath the wiper mechanism behind the brake booster. I'm trying to get as much as I can back there, but not having that sexy joiner I showed you a few minutes ago really means I can't tuck it in as it originally was. So once again, I just have to make the best of it. But keep in mind, all of this is going to be covered anyways. Yep. I'd love to get ahead of it. I've got one last connection to do, which is to connect the output side of the heater cores to the coolant return tube going back towards the engine. So I've got everything done that I think I wanted to get done. I've got all the plumbing done. I may reroute a couple of the hoses because I'm not quite happy with it. I'm not going to put the brake master cylinder back in because I forgot I have to run new lines to the rear of the car before I put any fluid in the system. So I'm just going to hold on that for a bit. But that's it for today. Ciao.